Hi, this is Jim from Trek World, and I just had to drop a special video to tell you about an exciting new opportunity coming up for those of us who missed the Tomy Enterprise that was shipped late last year. For those of you who may remember, it was a 32-inch die-cast metal version of the original classic Enterprise as it appeared in Star Trek, the original series. After a year of waiting, it actually did deliver just before Christmas of last year to somewhat mixed reviews. I personally liked mine a lot, still like mine a lot, and I'm going to do this again, as you're about to find out in a moment. But other people were actually concerned with things such as missing lights on one side of the saucer, and also the fact that the seams, which we were told were going to be invisible, were very, very visible. However, those are the characteristics of diecast. Today, Tomy has made an additional announcement that effective August 1st, they will be taking pre-orders of a version of NCC-1701 Refit from Star Trek the Motion Picture. And today we're going to take a look at just a few of the photos and features and just comment about what we may have to look forward to. Now, the first picture you see right here is an absolutely beautiful picture. They've lowered the room lights around it so you can see the clear highlighting that the built-in lights have on this model. And one of the things that I've noticed as I look at the photographs is that the model's lighting system is vastly superior to the lighting system that they used in the TOS version of the Enterprise. And we also have those LED spotlights that light up like the side of the nacelle pylon that we can see here, and even the underside of the saucer in the back. Now, I will tell you that it appears, at least in the photographs, that they have foregone the ability to separate the saucer from the secondary hull. Me personally, I hope they have, and I'm glad if they did, because keeping them in two pieces made the original model that we bought last year somewhat lopsided and difficult to display without using the special dual support stands that they gave us for that. Now, before we move on to another photograph, I will give you a first hint of something that is truly amazing about this particular model, and that is that they actually did paint it with iridescent paint. So yes, it is actually wearing the paint scheme that was used in Star Trek the Motion Picture, and not the flat white paint scheme that continued on by Star Trek II and onwards by ILM. Now, these next two pictures that we're taking a look at here, obviously, they've raised the lights up a little bit. In the first one you see here, we see the side of the secondary hull where they just want to give you some idea of what the die-cast side of the model is going to look like. Now, again, I noticed in this picture, there's not a whole lot of visible seams, so this possibly means good things for us. Noticing that they have the Aztecing on the side as well, it is possible they may try to conceal the seams in the panel lines that go between the Aztec panels. And if that's the case, that might actually have a better presentation than we had on the TOS model that came out last year, which of course was a smooth finish the whole way around. Now, the picture you're seeing right here is of the rear end of one of the nacelles, and they've chosen this picture to highlight the fact that the iridescent paint job is different from a flat white. But to be perfectly honest, I can see it. Maybe a little bit of mother of pearl there right beside the NCC on the left-hand side, but the picture we just saw in the previous slide was much better at showing us the fact that we were dealing with iridescent paint and not flat white. Two things we take a look at here is the Surak shuttlecraft, which I think it said might actually be ready for delivery when you place your pre-order, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out more about that in the next few days. I didn't really want to waste too much time between the announcement of this and putting the video up, because we need to get the word out there, because those of you may remember, last time they did this, they gave everybody very, very little time, and they almost didn't even do it because not enough people signed up for it originally. They had to lower the original target by half, from 5,000 units to about 2,500 units, and they finally made it literally by the skin of their teeth. So I really want to make sure we had a chance to get in line for this early so that we don't miss that opportunity. And considering the fact that they're starting pre-orders on August 1st, once again, they've given us less than 30 days notice. We're just going to have to simply see whether the past repeats itself. Now, they gave us 3 shuttlecraft with the TOS Enterprise, but for those of us who bought it, I'm sure we all can tell you that the shuttlecraft they gave us were worse than useless. They're very nasty design. Actually, it looks like they made them in two pieces and like glued them together. It's hard to explain. I'll see if maybe I can throw up a photograph here. But if not, just take my word for it. If you haven't seen the little shuttles from the original one, they're not impressive. This, however, they've gone for a larger shuttle, something that doesn't have to fit in the back of the shuttle bay. So as a result, they can do a little bit better with the scaling. Now, the other thing you'll see here is the navigational deflector lights up and glows. I love that. We're going to see a lot of glowing blues and oranges and reds in this particular ship, and it's really going to give it a far more of a warm appearance than what you get with the TOS model. And speaking of glowing orange, notice that the impulse drive on the back of the saucer also glows orange, basically the same color as what we see in the front. And the biggest thing that makes me excited is this little fellow here will be wired for lights via USB. No batteries, no funky battery compartments to stick the batteries into, but in fact, little push buttons on the base that will allow you to change the mode that the lights are showing in, as well as a button for fire control, which I'm sure is going to give us the obligatory phasers and possibly photon torpedo sounds. Now notice that this model does not include the cord, but let's face it, guys, a universal power cord off Amazon is going to be under $10, so I'm not going to sweat that too much. Now, we've got a couple of photographs here of one of the people leading the project at Tomy and the model sitting out on an open desk in front of him. The lighting is a little bit subdued, and that's good because, like I said, that really shows off the model's ability to give a glowing appearance. And of course, they do also point out that, this is a prototype, so it may not look like exactly what we get. However, I will tell you that the prototypes that they showed the last time through were pretty darn close, in my opinion. I'm not a model builder, as most of you know, but I thought that they actually came out pretty good. So really, I don't expect much in the way of a change from the prototype, unless they run into structural problems dealing with die-cast. I think they learned a lot from the first run of these that were done with the TOS version. So I'm hoping they take that information and use it to improve this model and future models to take advantage of what we've actually learned. So we basically see another version of the same photograph. This time we have another person behind it, and a little bit better on this slideshow here because you're a little bit closer than the previous one, and that makes it easier to see the buttons down on the base on the left-hand side. Notice the cord that they don't include is snaking out the back on their prototype. So the highlights of this are pretty self-explanatory. A die-cast build, this baby's going to weigh about the same 20 pounds or so that the TOS version did. Real working lights, that's exactly what we had before, nothing big there. The nacelles light up, and that is big. The blue light on the inside is really, really nice, and that's an upgrade I'm looking forward to. Highlighting, of course, the fact that we have the iridescent paint pattern to mimic the original studio model, and the Arboretum is also highlighted on this picture, but trust me, when it's lit up, we're not going to be able to miss that particular feature. And of course, like I said, the little Surak mini shuttle is 5.6 inches and includes its own stand. My guess is this is going to be pretty close to the size of the old Eagle Moss Starship collection. And this model is 35 inches long, which is different, of course, than the 32 inches from the original series version, but it is still in 1/350 scale. So my guess is the difference between the 35 inches and the 32 inches represented the actual increase in size when they put the new swept back nacelles on the refit during Star Trek the Motion Picture. Now, in the back rear of the model, notice we do have the hangar deck. There is no mention that I'm aware of at this point whether that hangar deck's going to be like the TOS version was, or whether it's just going to stay completely closed and not have any details inside the bay. Now, for those of us who need to scout out where we're going to put this in our little man cave, here's some things you need to know. One, it's a 1/350 scale, so this baby's going to look really, really good beside the master replicas, the QMX, the Tomy that we have, polar lights, the custom-built models. Your scaling's all going to be good there, so that's great. The overall dimensions are going to be about 34.25 inches long, 16 inches high, and 11 inches wide. And of course, as mentioned before, it's going to weigh about 20 pounds, and it's going to be powered off USB, but of course, once again, cord not included. It's kind of funny, when we were growing up, every time we got a toy from our parents, it was batteries not included. Now we live in a whole new millennium, and whenever we buy a toy for ourselves, now it's cord not included. Now, they actually do call out the USS Enterprise replica collectible from previous year's TOS had raised $1.786 million and was generally very well received by the public. Again, there were issues with it, and you're going to hear a lot of people on the internet complaining about that model. But ladies and gentlemen, if the model was that bad, it would not be selling on eBay today for the screens that you're seeing now, showing what it is sold for within the past 30 to 60 days. Long story short, it was a great model, and this one's worth the investment as well. Now, what we got in this picture is a different angle, and we're a little bit closer than we were before, which gives us a better idea of what the rear side of the secondary hull is going to look like towards the iridescent. Actually does show up in this shot pretty good. More, like I said before, probably more than in the picture they highlighted the iridescent paint in. So if you want one of these little guys, you need to immediately go to Tomy. You can find the link in the description below. You can put yourself on the wait list. All they want is your name and your email address. And then they tell you in that they're expecting to begin opening orders on August 1st. So the price is $6.99. It has gone up $100. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the shipping is going to look like. But last time they did this, they included shipping for free. They weighed 20-some pounds a piece. And when you're giving your customer free shipping internationally from the United States on a 20-pound box that is oversized the way this is, no, it's just not practical. Now, if you do live outside the United States and you do want to order one of these, you can use a freight forwarder company. I used one for years called Forward to Me. I used to be able to buy things in England and have them forwarded to me with DHL for companies like Eagle Moss and such that would sell something in England but could not sell it in the United States. Keep an eye on the channel. I'm sure that probably if this is like the last time, maybe within the next 3 or 4 days, we will get more information leaked, possibly even a video clip from Tomy like they did early on, and we can see exactly where this goes. So once again, all in all, I don't think this is going to be a bad investment. I'm looking forward to it. Be prepared for the same thing that happened before. Give them your money, wait a year. It is a good investment. A lot of people bought 2 or 3 of them and then so they could sell them on eBay. I didn't do that last year, and I still probably think I wouldn't do it because if they're only going to make X number of them and they're going to sell out, you don't necessarily want to take somebody else's model simply because you were trying to make a profit with it. However, they didn't sell out last time, and the people who did do the multiple orders, well, they're the ones that are selling these models on eBay for $2,000 plus. So who's to say that I'm right and they're wrong?